They're on the track. Here we go. This is the men's 8K, and they are off.
No use in waiting. Let's get rolling here. The road to the Natty goes through Nutty here in Madison. Luis Grijalva and Peter Lamong, you see them in the middle with that NAU gold out very quick. That would be interesting for NAU. Instead of having Day and Baxter at the front, rotate out 2 other guys, and they have the depth to do it, but surprises abound, Gordon. We don't need to go back any farther than the last race we saw where Monson pulls the upset individually in Colorado, and Boise State both toppled the #1 ranked Lobos coming in. We'll see if anybody can do that to NAU. Peter Lamong at the front of the pack. Pilots of Portland on the left. They're out very quickly as well, too.
It'll be interesting how Lamong handles this, because this race last year he was in 40th. He got 40th, and then he went on to get 8th. So he comes into this race with a different type of swagger, coming in as, hey, I'm a top 10 cross-country finisher versus, hey, a top 40 Nuttycombe finisher.
Exactly, and in the white over red there, that is Wisconsin. You saw Oliver Hoare and Morgan McDonald.
And you see some of the Alabama athletes not get out that strong. I see Chilanga kind of the back in the middle of that pack. And you see no Crimson Tide up front, so they're kind of swallowed up by this giant field. It would be good, it's a good test for them because, I think this is the only time they come to this course. Alabama's not running pre-nationals, so this is their one chance to look at the course before NCAAs. And you see Iona athlete up front, 3 NAU Lumberjacks. I don't see Baxter. Do you see Baxter anywhere?
I don't. I see.
There's no Baxter.
Yeah, that's Tyler Day up there, and then I see obviously Grijalva and Lamong at the front.
So already interesting development here. No Matthew Baxter on the course, unless he fell or someone, but I do not believe I see him. He was here like Brody Hasty was here, so Mike Smith brought a lot of basically the entire squad out to Madison, but not running everyone. So maybe they're doing a workout today instead of participating in this Nuttycombe Invitational. You see that giant pack, 200-plus runners, all going through that back turn after that long straightaway, and they enter the woods for the first time here momentarily, and then they'll come up onto that 3K split.
Yeah, that Iona runner up there was hip 562. That's Ihab El Sendali, a sophomore, up there in the front. And you get a look there, Oliver Hoare on your right, Morgan McDonald on your left, running at the front of the pack. Of course, they've run numerous times. Mick Burns said they know every blade of grass, and they are in the front of this pack right now. Peter Lamong just takes a look behind him, lost his footing there for a moment. No harm, no foul, and there is an Alabama runner now moving up on the outside as they go up and over the first little hill of this course right near the 1 kilometer mark.
So yeah, there's no Baxter. He's healthy, but he's just not racing. He was here similar to Brody Hasty. So healthy scratches for the Lumberjacks. Alabama did the same thing with Vincent Kiprop. He's not here, but his teammate Gilbert Keegan up front is. Speaking of Gilbert Keegan, this guy comes from the JUCO. Gilbert Keegan of Alabama comes from the JUCO system where he won so many national titles for junior college level. And then immediately as a junior, he did not miss a beat. He was a top 10 finisher in cross country, Alabama's Gilbert Keegan, and he went on to back it up during the indoor and outdoor campaign and has really been a strong performer. And that doesn't always happen for some JUCO transfers. He was able to really find his stride early and just keep grinding through all 3 seasons, and now he's a national title contender as a senior at Alabama.
And part of that big 3 that may turn into a big 4 after today. We'll see what
we'll find out.
Noel Rotich, the highly touted steeplechase star, running his first race, we believe, today for Alabama. That's Elson Dolly at the front, I believe. That's 562. That continues to be Ihab El Sendali in the all gold of Iona. To his left, 519 from Eastern Kentucky. That's James Sugira.
Yeah, James Sugira, he's a Rwandan transfer. He run 13:46 in the 5K before coming to EKU as a sophomore. And he's become an immediate impact performer after winning the Commodore Invitational. That's an EKU athlete up front. But not all the big names up front. You see obviously Keegan there. You see Rudolph of Portland and McDonald, but you know, some of the top players that we were expecting aren't really all visible just yet, and that makes sense because Danny Jones wasn't visible for the first 3K of this race.
Yeah, exactly, and she put her imprint on it by the time the women had run all 6 kilometers. Get a look there at where they are at on the course. They're about to complete their first big loop. They head down a hill there, and a little bit of a stride out there from Portland's Emmanuel Rudolph Levesse.
So Levesse is going to take it there through the first 2K in about 5:34-ish, 5:34-ish through 2K for this opening. Excuse me, that a little bit off. It's 5:52 through 2K. Apologies. So that mat was a different timer mat. The mat is actually up here. There it is. That's the actual 6K point. So apologize about that. 5:52 for Emmanuel Rudolph.
11th in the national championships last year, and then this spring he was 17th in the 10,000 in Eugene at the NCAA championships. I think he was just sort of striding out a little bit there, Gordon. I don't think that was any sort of definitive move, as he's backed off a little bit as the rest of the field is behind him, with Keegan, Sugira, Day there of NAU in the bright yellow, and Peter Lamong. NAU is now kind of spread out. They have one all the way on the left, one on the right, and then Day sort of close to Lamong, but also towards the middle, and then Wisconsin's Hoare and Baxter behind them.
So we'll get 2K team score splits momentarily here as they now repeat the course once again in this second 2K loop, led by Gilbert Keegan, Lumberjacks up there, but all the big names up front. A lot of Portland doing well. I think NAU and Portland have really put themselves up there up front and look pretty good early on, because I see a lot of gold and a lot of purple.
Boise State there running with 3 guys up pretty high in the pack there for the Broncos. You see them in the orange and blue, very distinctive uniforms for the Broncos.
So NAU and Portland right now early on are our leaders. Pretty much, again, team scores don't really mean much at the 2K, but for what it's worth, NAU and Portland up front, and I believe Boise State and Washington State, based off of where people are coming through TK, are also up there in the mix. But clear separation, though, with NAU and Portland. Surprisingly, Iowa State not really in the mix yet, but we'll wait to see where they – I mean, Colorado was 8th at the 2K split, and then they ended up winning it. And Iowa State, there's Peter Lamong. That's the guy that – he's kind of going to be the story of the season. He had that crazy finish, finishing 8th at the NCAA championship. Didn't really have that strong of an outdoor-indoor season, but some people don't really always translate cross to track or track to cross, and he wants to prove some doubters wrong. He wants to prove he's not a one-race wonder, and if he's able to have consistency this regular season, I think he'll be able to show that, yeah, I can finish once again in the top 25.
Yeah, and if he's on anywhere near the same level as he was at that meet in Louisville, then it's going to be incredibly near impossible to beat Northern Arizona, because you just can pretty much set your watch today in Baxter, and then when you throw in runners like Grijalva and Beamish, the depth is certainly there, and someone like Lamong, if he has a ceiling of top 10, that's pretty tough to beat. Didn't replicate it in the outdoor-indoor seasons, but it's, you know, it's a new season, time to reset. We'll see what he does here. I'm sure a top finish here would be incredibly good sign, as he kind of signaled to Tyler Day there almost to take the pace. So the two of them are communicating.
And you saw those team scores. Iowa State in 9th. But again, Colorado was 8th, and they won it. So we'll see what Iowa State, the number 4 ranked team, is. But right now, NAU and Portland leading up front, like we said, with Peter Lamong, Tyler Day, Louis Gavalja. They all looking strong, and just over 9 minutes through the course. We're going to hit about 3K momentarily here. I think it'll be the next sign you see will be that 3K split. Or they might already cross 3K, actually.
Believe so. And Lamong won the George Kite meet earlier this year in Flagstaff. Featured a lot of NAU's top guys, got the win. Don't know how much everybody was exerting out there on the course since it was so early, but maybe we're seeing a patented NAU 1-2 control the pace strategy, except without Baxter, we're seeing Lamong play that role. Again, still too early, but those two, you know, are never shy about getting to the front early in the race.
So right now, I mean, this was through 2K, but Northern Arizona's 5th was in 35th place, but their 6th was in 36th place, and their 7th was in 37th place. So they have 3 fifth men all ready to go there in the top 40. So NAU showing off their depth. Again, this is without Matthew Baxter in the mix, so they get even stronger when you add in that key low stick.
Yeah, and you got Jordy Beamish right now, their number 4 runner in 20th, and battling for that 5th spot, a freshman, Ryan Raff, excuse me. All the attention has gone on Brody Hasty, and rightfully so when you run 4 minutes in the mile in high school, but Ryan Raff's had a really strong beginning to his season.
Yeah, that's right. Ryan Raff, he had a great early second-place finish at George Kite Invitational. NAU, man, they just got so much depth. You know, we talk about their 3 seniors up front, but they're ready to go for 2019, 2020, and beyond.
Keegan up there for Alabama, and there's a second Alabama.
Yeah, that's Chalanga.
So we're still looking to see where Noah Rotich is in the front. One of our athletes to watch. And then Sugira of Eastern Kentucky. And little by little, this pack is thinning. You know, when you look at it from the front angle, and we get a chance to dig in here on Keegan, the SEC runner-up in 2017. He was 4th in NCAA Nationals last year, 7th in the 10K, part of that big 3 along with Kiprop and Chalanga. And with Kiprop not here, kind of falls to him, Gordon, to be the leader, the lowest of the low sticks for Alabama. I mean,
That's
they have
right.
a lot of potential to put a bunch of guys in the top 10.
Yeah, and Lamong, I mean, he has a lot of confidence right now the way he's running. He's running like a true top 10 performer. And just seeing 4 NAU guys up front without Matthew Baxter here, that is scary. You know, that is scary seeing that they would have their entire top 5 in the top group if Baxter was on the course.
Yeah, absolutely. As Beamish moves up now
Yes.
to join them, get a look at him for the first time. He just kind of gracefully moved up from 20th into the top 5. Get a look there at Sam Worley of Texas coming through in the burnt orange of the Longhorns after a stellar freshman season for Sam Worley. All-American outdoors in the 1500. Long distance for him. We'll see how he finishes up here.
So they were about 11:52 through that 4K. Mickey Davey put himself in the mix there with the NAU guys. But right now, NAU is dominating. You know, they right now, I think, are projected to have a score of 59 points. 59 points there for Northern Arizona, Portland 100, Wisconsin in 3rd with a 148, Boise State 157, Colorado State 210, and Iowa State 229. So Iowa State moving up a bit, but still NAU without Matthew Baxter right now leading by 40 points.
That's incredible. Still half of the race still to go. Lamong there gesturing. I don't know if someone bumped his arm, but he turned around a bit, and he's still turning around having a conversation. I don't know if it's with Sugira or his teammate there, but that's a couple times when Lamong's turned to his right. And now he's smiling up front, having a great time out here in Madison.
Having a good time. It'll be interesting to see when a move is made and who does it. Is it going to be Keegan? Is it going to be Lamong? Is it going to be someone else? Is it going to be, you know, the unknown in Segura, the guy from Eastern Kentucky? Segura, excuse me. You know, Morgan McDonald. He saw his teammate Alicia Monson win unexpectedly. Maybe he got that extra motivation after seeing Alicia win, but that's what I want to see. Who's the one that makes the move? We saw it was the freshman on the women's side, Robinson, and then Kaladi made the second move. It'll be interesting. Who here? Is it going to be a senior? Is it going to be a younger guy, more experienced? We don't know, and that's what we're waiting for to see really who's like, all right, we're going for it.
Yeah, I think the tendency here is to err on the side of caution this early in the season and not get into, you know, a total burn up here in September. But competitive instincts often kick in. You had a look there on the right side of the screen a little bit in the all blue. That was Mickey Davey. I don't think we had mentioned him yet, Gordon, from Air Force. Ranked in the Flow rankings at 19. So he's legitimate top 20 runner. He was 18th at the national championships last year in cross country. So don't forget about him. He's a guy who could certainly get involved if anything involving the NAU runners, Chalanga, or the Wisconsin crew. Just see him there. He's right now in the blue in the middle. with Lamong and Day up front.
Like we said, yeah, Mickey Davey, 2017 NCAA All-American, 18th, a junior leading the Air Force squad. He's there sitting there right next to Morgan McDonald, right behind Tyler Day. He's in the blue. You can't see him because Peter Lamong wants to control this race, and he's right in front of him, literally. But Mickey Davey, kind of the unknown, strong top 20 performer.
Yeah, a couple Portland runners there in that group, so they're kicking off their A squad. This is their first race of any sort for their A squad.
Yeah, I actually spent a week with the Portland men a week ago as they were training through, getting ready for the Bill Dillinger Invitational, which their B squad went on to beat Oregon, and now their A squad is really showing off. But spending a week with Rob Connor, their head coach, you know, I expect them to be here in the top 3, and I also expect them to be even better, you know, weeks down the line. Like a lot of these teams, they're all going to be better weeks down the line, but Portland, I think they're just looking for a strong top 3 finish, show that they're fit, show that they're healthy, and really just take that momentum into pre-nats and ultimately resting through conferences like they like to do, and then going strong at the NCAA level. And looks like, I feel like Segura wants to push it, and Peter Lamong is like, no, I'm gonna control this race. And McDonald and Hoare, 2 Badgers up front. I mean, Hoare has a crazy kind of timeline, you know, Big Ten cross-country champion. Then he finished, what, in the 90s at NCAA for cross. And then indoor, kind of shaky, but then comes out strong and wins the 1,500 against someone who we thought was unbeatable at the time, Josh Kerr. But Ollie Hoare showing his range by being up there with his teammate Morgan McDonald.
See 3 NAU Lumberjacks there. Morgan McDonald of Wisconsin, though, he's going to get most of the cheers here between him and Oliver Hoare. All-American 2 years ago, ran in the Commonwealth Games this spring, dropped a 13:15 5,000 on the track 2 years ago, and ran 13:19 as they cross over another timing mat there. 13:19 this past spring, so one of the best in the nation there, and Coach McBurn has to be pretty happy so far with the 2 of them sticking together at the front of this pack.
An Aussie 1-2 punch. You gotta love it.
The duo from down under for Wisconsin. The Portland runners that we mentioned, you know, Caleb Webb, Rodolphe Levesse, and Nick Hauger are the 3 pilots who are hovering all in that top 10 area right there. So a very strong 1, 2, 3.
We saw Gilbert Keegan start to fall off a bit, which is kind of unexpected here. Again, this race is unique. It's a September race, you know. A lot of these athletes are training hard through this moment, you know. They're not really peaking for a race like this, and it's a weird head-to-head race where you're not really, you care about it, but you also care more about being ready in late October, early November. But when you're someone like NAU and you're that good, you can just put your true sophomore Gravalja with your 2 seniors up front, running neck and neck with the likes of Hoare, McDonald, Segura, and Edwin Kurgat, who now up in the mix for Iowa State.
First time mentioning Edwin Kurgat. He should lead the Cyclones this year, potentially lead them all the way to the podium. You have him ranked currently 7th in the Flo XC rankings. Fifth last year in the 5,000, and then 21st in cross last year. So has the experience, and together with Andrew Jordan, very, very, very good 1-2 for Iowa State.
So NAU is in control of this race. This is very similar to the New Mexico Lobos squad of 2015, where they put
women's squad.
Women's squad of 2015, where they just destroyed the field at Nuttycombe. Right now, NAU, you know, they're winning by over 60 points over Portland, and that's through 6K. They are taking control of this race. They're winning by 60 points without the guy who could win the whole thing in Matthew Baxter.
Right. If he was here, that would drop down at least 15 points. Yeah, you're getting close to perfection. Not quite there, but close to it if you had them there. So, as expected, NAU running really well. And I guess the surprise, if any, out of that group, I mean, it's hard to say it's surprise because he's been so good. Jordy Beamish, though, being that high up.
Yeah, and Gravalja. I mean, Gravalja and Beamish, they were, and I see that's Blaze Farrow as well up there looking good. Blaze Farrow, he's a redshirt sophomore. I don't think he's ever run at the NCAA meet, and now he's running neck and neck with Day and Lamong and Gravalja. So Blaze Farrow having a good race there up front, right there behind Oliver Hoare. But you see the scores here. Northern Arizona 37, Portland 103, Wisconsin 143. Those are unofficial 6K split scores. But just see, look at that gap. Almost over 60 points. That's insane.
Yeah, and it goes into the realm of unbelievable when you consider Matt Baxter's not here.
Yeah.
So winning by 60 points and not having a guy who could win the race is hard to comprehend. Morgan McDonald on the left, Seguero of Eastern Kentucky in the middle, and then Lamong on second from right, and then Edwin Kurgat all the way to the right as this pack has separated. You see Oliver Hoare has dropped off a bit. So he's crossing through 7K.
So Hoare not able to go with that front group anymore. He's starting to fall off. Morgan McDonald, though, still looks smooth up front. But again, a lot of lumberjacks.
I know he doesn't want to expend too much energy, but this is the first cross-country race in about 2 years for Morgan McDonald, and he's running at home. It's going to take incredible restraint not to try to kick for this win.
Yeah, and he's in the lead now, and he's starting to feel it. He's got to feel that energy. Again, like we said, Alicia Monson wins the women's title. Now Morgan McDonald in the lead in the late stages of this 8K. Could we see a Wisconsin 1-2 punch, and not 1-2 punch, but you know what I mean, women's victory and men's victory? McDonald, this is a good way to start your season off of, again, like you said, not racing since 2016 on the cross-country course.
Oh, and it looks like these 5 have separated. I don't think Chalanga is going to be able to bridge that gap. And just as I say that, McDonald separates from that group. So now he's in front ahead of the 4 that includes Kurgat, Seguero, Lamong, and Tyler Day. And Morgan McDonald has left everybody else behind him. And see how much, he could put it away right now.
And that was a move of a man who knows the course, because he made that move at a perfect point right where that uphill was to get that separation. And now he knows he's almost done. He's almost finished. And he specifically knew this is the moment where I drop them and spread it out. And look, now 10 meters is going to be hard to close in the final 500 meters of this race. As you see, he's already opening it up there. That's Segura and Edwin Kurgat in second and third, but Morgan McDonald looking smooth, looking over his shoulder. This guy is back. We said it. We interviewed him before the race. He said he's going to go for it, and look it out. He is saying, not only am I going to challenge people for the win at Nuttycombe, but I'm going for an NCAA title on my home course. He redshirted on purpose his last season in order to be eligible to run as a senior here in Madison. And you see that's Edwin Kurgat now trying to close on him a bit. But Morgan McDonald, Edwin Kurgat, James Segura. Can McDonald hold off Kurgat? Kurgat starting to close a bit on McDonald. It's going to be close, but McDonald looks smooth. Kurgat closing hard. Morgan McDonald, can he take his victory? He's never won the Nuttycombe race. This could be his one chance. He's looking over his shoulder. It's looking close, but it looks like Morgan McDonald has enough for it. Looking over, Morgan McDonald is going to win the 2018 Nuttycombe Invitational. Edwin Kurgat takes second. NAU's Tyler Day third. Segura fourth. Gervalja fifth. NAU puts 4 in the freaking top 10 without Max Baxter. NAU is on a mission for a three-peat, ladies and gentlemen. But Morgan McDonald showing off his wheels, takes the victory for Wisconsin. Wow, 23-17 is a nice run there for McDonald. I know the course has changed a bit, but 23-17 is the 6th fastest time on this course. Morgan McDonald, ladies and gentlemen, he is back. He's ready to go. You see the top 18 finishes there. A lot of big names up there. Chalanga, Dressel, John Dressel. He redshirted last year. He's back. He's healthy. Olin Hacker of Wisconsin is 19th, so Wisconsin doing a good run there. We'll see what the official team scores are. We know Northern Arizona won. It's not even close. But the question is, who finishes second, third, fourth? Wisconsin, Portland, and Iowa State are in that conversation. Right now, Wisconsin, and we take a look at the team scores. These are unofficial, but pretty much within 1 or 2 points. This is what it is. Northern Arizona wins it with 46 points. Wisconsin takes second with 135. Portland 140. Iowa State 152 and Boise State 160. If you look at that, Wisconsin, Portland, Iowa State, and Boise State all within range of each other. but Wisconsin gets it on their home course. Northern Arizona, 46 points without Matthew Baxter. That is an impressive run, but Wisconsin, runner-up, 135. And looking at this, other notable teams, Colorado back in 8th place. Purdue, a nice top 10 finish, 317.